Yo, appreciate you guys for continuing to support the movement. Another great topic. We're going to talk about the Second Amendment. Let us know what you think. Click subscribe and share. And also hit like on the bottom, man. Man, Big Zo Podcast. Holla at your boys, man. You know where you can follow us. Miz on me, Miz on me, Miz on me.
Yo, Miz
Yeah.
on me, Miz on me, Miz on me. Welcome to the Big Zo podcast. I go by the name of Berto.
It's your boy Beast on the beat.
Hey man, this is season 3 Big Zo podcast. Man, we've been having a great year. Well, I shouldn't say great year so far. Well, I guess it's a great year because we're healthy, we're not sick or anything, and we're still alive. So we've been having a great year, man. But man, season 3 of the Big Zo podcast, man. So this year we're gonna be chopping it up with a lot of people, getting a lot of people's opinion. But we about to start with this episode, man. We gonna talk to the homie D, man. D, what's good, man? We got a special guest, the homie D. What's good?
Hey D, Berto, it's good. I'm D. As you know, appreciate you having me on the podcast.
All right, no problem, man. But the reason I wanted to chop off with D was, man, because I know D for a minute, and we always be talking about like different things, since being around each other. So I think I wanted to be on podcast because one thing that he loves is guns. He loves guns, and he got a lot of guns. He's like, I never seen anyone that has more guns than this guy. With that being said, we're gonna talk about the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, those who don't know what the Second Amendment is pretty much the Bill of Rights. It was added in the Constitution December 15, 1791. The reason why the Bill of Rights was added, is basically the right to bear arms. And what does that mean? Is the right for people to purchase guns to protect themselves or protect their family and protect everybody else. And also, what I'm reading from Google is they think this will help the shootings and keep criminals and mentally ill people from getting guns. So that's what they created the Bill of Rights, just to protect people from criminals and also from mentally ill people and also protect them and their family. So let's chop it up, D man. Again, man, we've been having like multiple conversation about this, man. So why do you think the Bill of Rights is like the Second Amendment is basically important, man? The right to bear arms.
Well, I mean, if we look throughout history, um, any time that a government has taken away someone's Second Amendment right, it's ended up in genocide, massive manslaughter. So that's why I feel like without the Second Amendment, the government can overpower us easily.
All right, cool. So my whole thing is if you notice like the last like what we can say like 3 to 5 years, there's been a lot of mass shootings. And you got people from the other side that are basically saying, hey, we should either get rid of the guns or not necessarily get rid of the guns, but get rid of like the rifles or the AK, 47s, those type of guns. What do you think about that as far as like the people from the other side? And what I mean from the other side, obviously, we're talking about think mostly is Democrats that want to get rid of them.
Yeah. Um, well, the way I see this is those weapons are used like that's like 1% of the death rate from those kind of firearms. There's something like 3 million, 3 billion of those type of firearms. Like if they were really a danger to society, you'd see that a lot more.
But do you believe like that everybody should have the right to carry on to get weapons?
Yes and no. I mean, right now, what I feel like we have in place is good. I mean, it helps keep out like people with um, high criminal records and stuff like that. Mental health and stuff like that. So I think what we've got in place is working pretty good.
But some people will say what we have in place is not working good because you got a lot of these like people with these mass shootings once they commit the crime, they come to find out, they would say, okay, they have some type of mental issues. So how is that? I mean, I'm not saying. I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm not saying like you should get rid of the guns, the gun laws, but I think you should just improve the gun laws as far as like keeping the guns away from the people that shouldn't be using guns. So obviously, you could agree that we should improve the gun laws.
To an extent, but I mean, to what point would you level that at? Like, what would you put in place just to stop something like that from happening?
Well, I would say like to me, if you've been called like if you get arrested for domestic violence, I think that your gun license should be revoked or you should not be allowed to purchase any weapons.
And that's already a thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because you got people that committed crimes, then you find out they had some type of issues. Or like for example, I know there was a few years ago, there was this guy that he was on the FBI list. The FBI was watching him, but he was still allowed to purchase a gun. Shouldn't it be a law like if you're on the FBI list, you can't even purchase a gun? You can't even go through
Yeah,
like the
that should
process?
be.
But
Yeah.
but
But
that's
then
not
again,
though.
like say like the incident with the Charleston shooting.
Yeah.
That was totally on the FBI. He was not supposed to be able to buy a gun.
Because he
But
was on
because
the
the
FBI
FBI
list.
fumbled, yeah.
But they were like, they
But
didn't have
he wasn't on the FBI list. He had a drug criminal record, felony possession, and if the FBI agent had called the correct police station, he would have never gotten that firearm. So that was a government mess up right there.
so then I mean they should approve the laws then.
Hey,
I
D, let me
mean,
chime in. Go ahead, go ahead.
you could, I guess you could say you could approve them, but at the same time, what would you improve to make sure something like that wouldn't happen?
I mean, if I had approved something, number one, if you get locked up for anything, you should not be allowed to have a gun. Number two, I would say the gun law should be pushed. Because I know it's 21 to get a gun. I think it should be pushed to probably 25. Or because people say why? Because if you think about it, even for you to rent a car, you got to be at least 25 years old because of the liability factor. So if it's hard for you to rent a car, why is it easier for you to get a gun? And in some states, you could be 18 to get a gun as long as if you could purchase it, but it got to go straight from your from the shop to your home, right? But you just can't carry it around, but you could purchase a gun and bring it to your home. So I just feel like
Mm,
they should change the law to make it more stricter for people to, because everybody should not be owning guns. Because there's a lot of crazy people out there that should not be owning guns. You know what I'm saying? Some people, okay, you're gonna have a
Yeah.
gun to protect yourself. And the problem is, I'm one of the people. Look, I know the NRA got a lot of flack, and I'm not one of the people that's going to criticize the NRA and say get rid of this and that. I believe everyone. I believe in the Second Amendment, and I believe we all should have our choice as the citizens to purchase guns and carry guns. But I just believe that everyone shouldn't be allowed to have that choice. Like if you like for example, if you was in high school, right? You're in 10th grade and you threaten someone, you know what I'm saying? You threaten someone you're gonna kill them, or threaten someone you're gonna do something to them, and they end up suspending you, or you brought a knife to school or something like that. That should prevent you from carrying a gun when you turn 18 in some states, or even 21 in some states. You should automatically be off limits from purchasing a gun. Because if you think about
yeah,
these
but
mass, yeah, go
some might
ahead.
argue that the whole young and dumb thing, like for example, you're not the same person you were in high school.
No, I agree.
I mean, sometimes we say dumb things and do dumb things. I mean, maybe we can add an extension, like a few years down the road, you get an evaluation or something. But
Bish, you got a
like, I
question?
mean,
Yeah, let me chime in right quick. I remember in the beginning of the podcast, you said that Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You said that you love the gun laws because um, it gives you leverage against the government. Is that I'm paraphrasing. Is that where I'm getting to?
Yeah, that's part of the Constitution is a well militia, you know, well armed militia.
Well, what makes you feel that way? Because let me give you, for example, an example in like I think the UK, where I mean, police they do have policemen that have guns, but most they like the citizens don't have guns, and we don't hear about outlandish crimes. You know what I'm saying, from the UK or the government forcing them like a communist country or anything like that. So how do you get a balance between that? Because we saying that you need these guns and you want these guns to protect, but it's like, what are you protecting against? Like, what are you afraid of? Is what basically what I'm getting to.
Well, I mean, if we look towards like communist China and stuff like that, and even Hong Kong, like they were having riots and stuff like that, where the government, police, and all that were the only ones that had guns. So they could be easily overpowered. I mean, the people I had were like frozen water bottles and fireworks and stuff like that. Whereas like the UK, I think they do have some guns. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Um, but their stabbing crime rate, and they still have a high crime rate over there. There's just a lot more stabbings and things of that nature.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that you're not gonna totally get away. You're gonna totally get away from crime, but I'm saying like shootings and especially in like the black community, there's a lot of shootings and a lot of illegal guns being just distributed through the streets. We don't hear about these in other countries. I'm not saying that crime doesn't exist because crime is everywhere, but I'm saying capping it, putting the limit on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how come we don't have that same approach as other countries in the United States? Why do you think that is?
Well, my opinion on this one is if you really look at things state by state, the states with the most strict gun laws have the highest gun deaths and gun crimes and stuff like that. But the ones that have like the lower restrictions and stuff like that have fewer gun related crimes and stuff like that.
I'm not sure if that's true or not because ain't Texas a state that you can carry guns? And I know there's a lot of crime that happens in Texas. And matter of fact, they just opened it up to where I think they just signed a bill to where it's an open carry state now, right? Or something happened. I think there was
Yeah, I read something along that line, but I'm not exactly sure which one that is. Maybe it's
right.
a don't need a permit to carry or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's an open carry state now. I'm not. I have to double check on that. But I'm saying we know Texas, especially Dallas and other places. I know there's the heavy crime, like especially with homicides. Matter of fact, they'll be on Fish 48 all the time. So, um, how do we control these things? Because look, if we can control it in the community, then I think we can like take a step further than going to where people are like talking about defund the police or deprogram the police. Is like I feel like we got to start with in our communities first before we even talk about police because there's a lot of illegal guns. Like of course we have guns as gun owners. We try to be as safe and whatever, but people out here stealing guns and stuff like that. And like, how do you control that? People stealing military guns and stuff like that. How do you even control that? To where we
That's
don't
the thing,
have
you
like,
can.
because somebody is more likely to survive a stabbing than a gunshot wound, right? Because even though you're saying there's more crimes with stabbing or whatever, but I guarantee you there's more people that'd rather get stabbed than shot, right? And it's because of those laws that they have in those places that, yeah, of course the survival rate is higher because there's no guns. But when guns get involved, it's like I don't understand. Like, as a gun owner, how do you not discourage someone of owning the gun? Because it's really like,
I mean,
bro, I have to. It's like I have to get a gun now to protect myself. Because it's like the next man might be on the same bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He might be on the same bullshit. Like these kids out here having guns and stuff. Because like, of course you can get a gun after 25, but a 7-year-old man probably is not going to be attentive as a 25-year-old man. So of course his gun might get stolen. He might report it get stolen, but by that time, a crime might happen in the next neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? We see that all the time, where people break into houses and steal guns and go commit crimes with these guns. So it's like, how do we draw a line in the sand to where we not only enjoy these guns, but like save lives, basically?
well, I mean, if you look at it like this, a criminal with a gun, where are they more likely going to go? A place that they're allowed to carry, or a place that is absolutely no carry. You cannot come in this establishment or school or whatever with a gun. Like a gun-free zone is where I'm going. So
Yeah.
a gun-free zone or a place where there is a possibility that people may have guns. If a criminal has a choice between that or the other, which one has more open targets, I guess you could say, more less resistance of someone fighting back?
Yeah, but we still have to get. I feel like what I'm trying to say is like, how do we control these guns? Like, for example, the dude that did the FedEx shooting, of course he wasn't supposed to have a gun. Even the dude that did the Parkland shooting like a couple years ago, like these are the people that got approved for guns. Like what kind of test do you feel like someone would need to be qualified? Or do you feel like you should be retested or re-examined every year, like as a gun owner?
Well, I mean, I hear you mention the Parkland. That one on another government fail. There was plenty of people that called in to the FBI and to local sheriffs and all that before this had even happened. The community had reached out to local law enforcement and upper law enforcement to
Mhm.
try and get this handled, but they dropped the ball, and we seen what had happened.
Yeah, but he had got the license before all that, before all those concerns and stuff like that.
But the
He
Parkland shooter
obtained.
didn't have a license.
Oh yeah,
You don't have to
he
have
did.
a
Yeah, you're right.
you don't have to have a
He did.
license to own a rifle.
You're right. So they did change the law for that, right? But
Yo,
how you feel about what we just said?
I would say to be honest, at the end of the day, I think because I know D was saying like a couple of these shooters were like government, like it was a government issue because the government failed the people. But that's one of the things I believe that we should have a stricter gun we should have a stricter gun policy to prevent like people that don't need to have guns from getting guns. Cause I'm looking right now at the gun violence in the United States, and this is just like something results from 2018 to 2021. It says from the National Center of Health and Statistics reported 38,390 deaths by firearm, which of 24,432 people were by suicide and 13,958 were homicide. So even like when you look at it, there's over 24,000 of people that have guns. They're killing themselves. So if you committing suicide with a gun, what is that telling you? It's telling me that you're not mentally fit to be carrying a gun in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And
Which
I
is
think,
true, but at
and
the
I
same time, even if they didn't have a gun, what's going to stop them? I mean, you could use a razor blade. There's pills. I mean, if they have their mindset on doing that, there's no way to stop them.
Yeah, but it's like, well, yeah, because they're harming themselves, but like they can't harm nobody else. Like um, the Las Vegas dude that did the shooting, like that was a sad way to go out. You know what I'm saying? And like, what do you blame for that? I know that they said because he was in the military, he had a little bit of PTSD, but it's like, bro, like that don't make no sense to me.
And
Yeah, it's been a little while since I refreshed on that one, so I'm not too familiar with that one as of right now.
and speaking of the gun laws, just like from other countries, if you look at countries like South Korea, Japan, they basically have less than 1% of homicide or suicide rates for guns. UK is the same thing. Norway, Spain, Hungary, Germany, New Zealand, Italy. Um, I mean, we go on and on and on. And obviously, there's some countries that have. I think Brazil's on the top that has more gun suicide or gun homicide. They, believe it or not, the United States. But I mean, anybody that know Brazil, I'm not gonna say they out of there's really no rules, but it's way different. It's not one of those top modern countries like the United States or UK and stuff. So I guess what I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, it's like people say, people don't kill people. People say guns don't kill people. People kill people. And it's just like you said, you say, okay, yeah, there's over 24,000 people that committed suicide on guns, but they could have used a razor. They could have used something else. But there's also over what was it like over 13,000 or 14,000 that had homicide. So I guess what I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, we could argue to disagree or agree to disagree. At the end of the day, gun laws, I think the way it's currently is right now, I feel it could be better. And I guess you don't feel like it could be better. You feel like it's okay the way it is. I feel like it need to be everything in life need to be. It's just like when you have a new car, when you have an old car, you know, you have a car 10 years old and you try to get it like a new Ford 50, a 2010 Ford 50, a 2021 Ford, Ford 150, it's gonna be completely different. You know what I'm saying? And laws should be changed over time. And I just feel like at the end of the day, the gun laws should be we should improve the gun laws.
Depends on which gun laws. Because I understand, I'm willing to work some things out. Been a little bend here, a little bend there, but things like red flag laws, I'm totally not down for. Universal background check,
So what is
I'm
red
totally
flag
not
law?
down for.
For the people that don't know, what
Red
is
flag law.
yeah.
So imagine this. Say you're a gun owner,
Mhm.
and someone you don't know, but they know you, or just randomly just call the cops and be like, hey, I think this guy's a danger to himself or anybody else,
Yeah.
just randomly.
Mhm.
They're gonna come to your house, collect your guns, and then you're gonna have to pay out of pocket so much money in court fees and all that just to prove that what they said was false, that you're fine.
Okay. Okay, I
Hey, hold
agree.
on, is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Yeah, in some
Oh,
places they do have the red flag law,
there's some states, right?
like which is it's iffy for me. I mean I can understand like someone making the counter like, yeah, but what if they really were? Okay, but at the same time, forcing someone to pay to prove that
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not.
yeah. That definitely
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
see. I agree with that. But the universal you're saying the second was the universal law,
Yeah, the universal background check.
universal background check. And can you tell people what is that?
Basically, it's pretty much uh, it's kind of hard to go into on that one. I got to refresh on that one, but essentially, from my understanding, from what I've researched, is eventually nothing's really going to change with the universal background check. It's essentially the same thing that we have now, except for later on they'll be like, oh, well, it didn't stop this shooting, so the reason why that didn't work was we're going to have uh, a registry, and then that way you're going to have to register everything you own, every ammo, and all that, and then eventually.
But ain't that what you supposed to do? Ain't what you supposed to do with your guns anyway? Like get them registered and stuff like that.
No, not necessarily.
But I'm saying, why would I want someone without unregistered gun?
Well, some states don't have register. You don't have to register your gun.
Really?
Yeah, some states you don't have to register. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think state of Florida you have to register your gun.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think so.
yeah,
You got the
yes,
background check.
yeah. So state of Florida. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Florida and Georgia. So if I want to sell you a gun, I can sell you a gun automatically.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think there is a law that goes between private sales.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cause I
See
remember.
what I'm saying? Like, but I'm saying that those little shit, that is the little shit that I be talking about. Which means if I'm a clean record guy and my roommate is a dirty old bastard, I can take that gun and sell it privately to him. That doesn't make no sense to me. And
Yeah, and I can agree with you on that one. That
right.
one, I think, if you're wanting to sell to a second party that you have already purchased and you're a law-abiding citizen, I think that you and this other person should go to a FFL dealer, fill out a background check, and do it that way. No, just under the table. Here's crash, quid pro quo. Like that would deal away with that, and I can agree with you on that one.
I was just reading for the universal background check. The con is it won't stop criminals from obtaining guns unless it's adopted by all 50 states. So basically the universal background doesn't really work because it's not adopted by 50 states. So, and I think that was happening, if I'm not mistaken, in Chicago, where they were going to the next state and buying guns or something and bringing it into
Yeah.
Chicago. If I'm not mistaken, that's how. So basically, it says 50. It says even they can purchase from friends. So basically, you can purchase from friends or in a private sale. So basically, that's what you're
It's
talking
like a
about.
gun show.
So you can
Yeah,
do a
yeah,
gun
and
show,
that,
or if I have a gun, I can sell it to you directly.
yeah,
Yeah, which
it's
is
the whole
bullshit.
private sale issue, which I can get behind of making that not a thing anymore. Like I said, I think if you're trying to sell to another individual, you both should go to a place that has an FFL dealer, and they can do a background check there. Even the FFL dealer, if it's a pistol, they can hold the pistol there for 3 days till the background check's
Mhm.
done, and then you can come pick it up from that location, say like a gun store or a pawn shop. I think they do it too. Anyone that has like a federal license to sell firearms.
What about how do you feel about reevaluation? I feel like everybody should be evaluated at least once a year. Like go it's like a seminar or something, or like you know what I'm saying, something to give you a certification. I think that should be done every year.
Um,
Cause it's like, bro,
I
I
50-50 on that one.
see with that one. The reason I say that is like I wouldn't want no doctor to be like he went to school for you know what I'm saying, for 4 years and just stopped going to school. Like, nah, I want a doctor that continue going to school, continue like renewing his license because like he's on top of his shit. He's always learning. There's always new material, new technology coming in, and so he wants to know how to use these materials. And so the same thing with a gun. Like I want to be shown that hey, you know how to use this, you know how to discharge it, you know the rules and regulations, and with that you can find out like run a mental background check or whatever. Because I don't feel like people from the like you say people change. So you get your license for 7 years, right? By the time I get my license, by the end of the 7 years, I might be a totally different person. And for me to just send an application in and just pay my money and be able to get a new license, I think it's some bullshit.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's room for corruption on that. I feel like if you give a certain people too much power, say like the person that's doing the mental health exam, if they're like super hardcore anti-gun, guess what? They're gonna fail you just like that, just because it's a Tuesday, you know. So I can't get behind that one. I feel like there's a lot of room for just error, or I don't like this, so I'm gonna shoo you away type of thing, you know?
I feel
Yeah,
you.
but I'm saying
What
just
do you?
like just for you to get a license, you need to go to a DMV. It's not like
Yeah,
you
but you
don't
don't have to
trust
get
those
a
people.
mental health check, or
Yeah,
you
I
don't even
mean,
have to blow for your blood type alcohol and all that. So
Yeah, you're right. And you could.
yeah, but you do
And
gotta
this,
read. You gotta read your eyesight. I'm saying like you just hire the right people to do those jobs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the job will be easy, but it's like okay, there's people out here that's what they do. That's what they went to school for. So like if they could do a mental evaluation test, why not run it? You know what I'm saying? Like the government sponsor it, whatever. I'm just saying it's just to have guidelines. You know what I'm saying? The person that read that you have to put your eyes through the thing and read the letters. Those people are not eye doctors, but they're in the DMVs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying if we can still put these people into these programs and run it like that.
well, eyesight's a lot easier to deal with than mental health.
Yeah,
Mental
I'm
health is
just
a
giving you.
whole
I'm just
lot
giving you.
deeper on that one.
I'm just giving you a whole. I'm giving you a whole.
hey, D.
That's
I
exactly
ain't
why
gonna.
I said you can have a doctor. You can have a doctor that specializes in that. I knew you were gonna say that.
Hey, D not
Yeah,
trying
but
to.
that goes back to the what's that?
That's it. D not trying to give in. He's like he loved the way the gun law is right now. I'll say another thing too, man. This should be added to the guideline. Like, so if you go see a doctor or psychiatrist or anything similar to that, and they reported, hey, you have some type of mental issues, or if you're taking some type of medicine that could affect your ability to be, that could affect your ability overall. I think that should be reported, and that should get your gun license revoked, or that should prevent you from actually getting a license or buying a gun.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Like if but that only squashes a small percentage of what y'all trying to get to. Like in order for someone to go to the psychiatrist, I mean, that's neither here nor there. So there's a like that insinuates people that would like, okay, I have my gun, I have my license, but I'm feeling kind of sad or depressed or whatever. I don't want to go to the psychiatrist because I don't want them to go report me and take away my gun. So that kind
Okay.
of that makes people not want to go
I
to a
got you.
psychiatrist if
It
they feel
prevent
like that.
That
people from
makes sense
going.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I don't know, man, but like, at the end of the day, man, this is like an argument. Like, I don't know what's the perfect law or perfect guideline that we should put in place, or what could we do to improve the gun laws. But all I know, there's been a lot of like mass shooting. Like in some shootings, is like if you really think about it, we could. I mean, I believe all shootings we could prevent it somewhere or somehow, but it's some of them it just brings you red flags. Like, damn, why couldn't we prevent this? I don't know what's the right law or rule for this, man. It's probably out of our ballpark, but I just feel like at the end of the day, man, they should be we should do more as a country to improve our laws and prevent these things from happening, especially mass shooting, man. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents about it, man.
Hey, I have a question. Do you believe uh Kyle Rittenhouse should be protected by the NRA, or not even protected, but should gun owners back him up? Because the reason I say that is, of course, he was not supposed to have a gun. He's a
Yeah,
minor,
for sure. He was
but he
underage. He should not have had
right.
that gun in the first place. Two,
But if he was 21 or over, technically I think he was protecting himself.
yeah, he was protecting himself, but still he
So it's
was
like,
underage.
yeah, that's definitely, of course, he broke the law because of that, because he's underage. But I'm saying if it was a regular old person, if he was 25 and up, let's say he was 25, and he did the same thing, came with his mom dropped him off, crossed state lines or whatever, and committed that. Do you think, as a gun owner, he should be let go?
Um, Based off of what I've seen, yes, because he literally just defended himself. Like they were chasing him down with skateboards, throwing bricks and bottles at him. He tried to run away, but then he tripped, and the guy was coming at him with a skateboard. Like, I mean, I know that sounds like, oh, that's not that serious. It's just a skateboard. The skateboard's got metal parts, wood, and all that, and it doesn't take much to, give you brain damage or kill you and stuff like that. So on that note, I say yeah, but I mean, it's
Yeah, appreciate you guys for continuing to support the movement and let us know what you think about the Second Amendment. Do you believe in it? There's no right or wrong answer. Just let us know what you think and leave a comment below. Big Zoe Podcast, every social media platform. Yeah, me some me. Let's go.